Hi there, psychic humans. Angela Bixby here, founder of Energy Intuit, creatrix of the Conscious Psychic Program, which incidentally is opening for enrollment in the next couple of days here, but more on that later. Welcome to this mid-November energy update. I began these energy updates in September at Spirit's direction, and I'm doing them twice a month. And I will be loading up other videos too with content that you guys are interested in consuming here, psychic development teaching videos, as well as channeled messages, and of course, coping strategies. I'm here to support people as they move through this really intense time of awakening and consciousness raising on the planet. So I'm Angela Bixby. Just quickly, I've been doing this work since 2010. It's a second career for me, and it's a real honor to be in a position where I know my mission is to help connect as many people to their intuition as possible. And so that's my big overarching mission. I do that through channeling, through teaching, through running development programs, etc. And one-on-one sessions. I do still do one-on-one sessions. So feel free to click on the link below to my website if you want to learn more about what I offer, if you'd like to book a reading, and or if you'd like to sign up for my newsletter, which will talk to you about different events and calls and things um, for programs and launches that I have going on. But let's get down to the mid-November energy report. All right. So if you've been feeling as though you are between a rock and a hard place, you have arrived to this mid-month of November. The way that Spirit's been channeling this to me over the last bunch of days, and boy, are we in some crunchy energy right now, is to say that there's sort of a sifting and a filtering that is happening. Many are experiencing fine tunings of lessons that were begun long ago, years, decades, yes. If some of you feel as though you're cycling through patterns or having things come back up from decades ago, I've been going through that too. You're not alone. It's as though the past is a pile of rubble and spirit is refiltering it all through us in case there are lessons and growth still left yet to be had by each of us as individuals. This energy is a version of sorting energy, is another way to say it, as we enter the final weeks of this year. This year of 2025 has been a year of changes, and these final weeks of 2025 are serving as kind of a clear out and a clean out type energy for each of us. And we all sit in different places with our individual growth and sit in different positions of relationship with our individual growth, our healing, our expansion, and yes, our ascension, as it's so commonly referred to, that process of elevating our consciousness while we're in a human body here on earth, said very simply. The process through which we raise our consciousness. So the experiences are going to be very individual with some common acknowledgements, is what Spirit is calling them this month. So Spirit has channeled through three acknowledgements and three coping skills that I'll review here with you. So poise your pen if you would like to, and I'll jump right into it. These three acknowledgements and three coping skills are what is unfolding through each of us, is the best way to say it, is how spirit brought it through. So acknowledgement number one, you are not who you were yesterday, last week, nor last year, and especially not who you were last decade. So whew, that's a big one. Witnessing all of you as you acknowledge that within yourselves, acknowledging the change and the growth that you have navigated and evolved with and through at this crazy time. It's kind of amazing that we're halfway through this decade of the 2020s. I had a client say that to me yesterday, and I had not leaned back yet to pause and consider that. But so considering who you were last decade, even 5 years ago, 6 years ago, witnessing and acknowledging that you are not who you were last decade, last week, or yesterday. So the coping skill that Spirit paired up with this is acceptance. Acceptance, which leads and lends itself to integration. So you can either say it out loud or write it or think it. It's truly creator's choice on which expression pathway you take, whether mental, verbal, written. And you want to sort of proclaim with your acceptance, I accept all current aspects of me. And or I am integrating all of me into me now. Or said another way, I operate from my now version of myself. Another one could be all aspects of my now version of myself are wholly integrated and moving me forward. So these are just a number of different ways that you can phrase it. And this coping skill is accepting it through stating it aloud, through writing it down, through thinking it. So that is that first coping skill is really just meeting the acknowledgement with acceptance within yourself and allowing that to kind of settle in and see how that feels for you. Okay, acknowledgement number two. Letting things go may feel sticky to you. So, as I share this, I'm seeing a visual of a stone falling through a sieve, and the hand of Source, said another way, the hand of God, picking it up and chucking it even farther away from the sieve to support your having let it go. It's curious because I'm watching a human with a sieve, right? With really small openings in the sieve. And I'm even starting to question how this rock, this stone made it through the sieve because it seems bigger than the sieve when the hand of Source, hand of God picks it up and chucks it. And so we're not meant to get caught too much into the thoughts around that. Really, just it's spirit encouraging us to, even if it doesn't make sense logically in our imagination, to really just let things go and acknowledge that that might feel sticky for you. I'm demonstrating it with this, right? My mental rumination of, well, how did that stone even make it through the sieve? We're meant to let things go in spite of the stickiness and acknowledge that letting things go may feel sticky for you. So, it doesn't mean that you may not face doubts, confusion, second guessing, etc., as you let these things go. Those are very real and human parts of this process of healing and evolving and becoming a better human through this time on planet Earth. So acknowledge the sticky and the confused feelings. It's okay that all of those come up with what you're working on. It's really normal. And so again, Spirit's really kind of pausing us for a moment in this acknowledgement of how sticky and uncomfortable things may be feeling or challenging or confusing they may feel to let go. So the coping skill number two that Spirit pairs up with a second acknowledgement is to acknowledge the hard feelings out loud or in writing or merely think them. And again, pick the expression pathway that you would like. So as you're acknowledging these, you're honoring this acknowledgement and you're accepting it, acknowledging how hard things are. Again, writing it down, speaking it out loud, thinking them are all pathways of how you can kind of honor and work with this. Then the guidance that Spirit brought through is as you're acknowledging the hard feelings or the confusion or the stickiness in writing or really thinking them, you want to begin to picture what you are letting go of as a boulder. So perhaps see it as that huge rock that the hand of Source tossed farther away from your sieve of your process. So you want to imagine that it's a huge boulder and you are on top of a hill. You want to take a moment in your imagination to see yourself communing with this boulder, kind of getting to know it, but also saying goodbye to it and thanking it for all that it brought into your life. And this boulder, again, is going to be a representation of anything that you might be working on, whether it's a pattern or a program, some old trauma, old relationships, past versions of yourself. We could represent grief, right? It can represent so many things, so many of those states that are ephemeral for humans, but very real emotional and mental states. So you want to imagine that the boulder represents that which you're releasing and letting go of, in spite of it feeling sticky. So back to the top of the hill with the boulder. What you want to do is you want to kind of survey the land in your imagination. And of course, you want to aim the boulder towards an emptier space downhill. And imagine that you're giving it a small push when you're ready to. Pause and as that kind of rolls downhill and rolls out of your fields and your imagination, I encourage you to take a breath and pause and really feel into the lightness of being that this coping skill can bring for you as you imagine that you're releasing something in this fashion through your imagination as a boulder that you're just giving a gentle push downhill to release it from your fields. And then feel into that lightness of being for yourselves. Okay, acknowledgement number three. You may feel, look, and experience a lot of emotion, messy emotions right now. So it's an acknowledgement of the messiness of the process, kind of in a different way. that than how Spirit's been talking about it earlier. I know these acknowledgements and these coping skills are very similar, and Spirit was clear to make distinctions between them. So I'm hoping that you're feeling into the distinctions as I move through this. So it's an acknowledgement that you might feel and look messy right now. I was being shown someone with, sort of smeared makeup and swollen face after having, had big cries and things. And so this is an acknowledgement of really how messy you may appear in the world as a result of what you're moving through. All of our bodies, our mental body, our emotional body, our physical body, and many spiritual bodies are under realignment energies right now. I'll say that again. All of our bodies, in all of us as humans, our mental, emotional, physical, and multiple spiritual bodies are under realignment energies right now. And so the emotions and the thoughts are on high as releasables, is what Spirit was calling them this month. And so having so many releasables on board ready to be released can feel overwhelming. It can feel so many things, but also we get to meet it with that level of acknowledgement that it's okay that we might appear really messy and swollen faced right now when we're out in public with what we're dealing with. With so many releasables, it's really easy. You may feel overwhelmed, messy, muddy with this process. And Spirit is again, they're showing me lots of humans having big cries right now. And as I said earlier, it's okay. It's really okay. We are able to release and process our emotions with ourselves and our guides right now. Even if we look tired, swollen, or smeared makeup on our faces from the process, the more that we acknowledge the potential messiness of this, the more grace that we're able to afford ourselves and then others as they navigate messy emotions too. So it's a way of giving yourselves grace in order to be able to give others grace as well. The coping skill that Spirit paired with this third acknowledgement is to work with your limits. And so while volumes may be coming up for each of us, line them up and then take them one at a time, right? You might not have the capacity to go one at a time when you're working with your limits, right? So that might be a good day for you to kind of work on releasing things that are more tied in packages or part of a pattern, etc. Um, and just sort of releasing them more in a grouping versus lining them up individually and plumbing them. And so Spirit said, or release them in groups or scoops is the way they languaged it, which was fun and cute. So what this looks like is if you consider that we are the project managers for all of our bodies, which we are. So as humans, we are project manager hat. Put that one on for all of our bodies, mental, emotional, physical, and multiple spiritual bodies. So we sit in the position to feel into whether we want to line up the messy issues that we're dealing with or deal with them one by one. And um, whether we want to line them up, sorry, in groupings or deal with them one by one. And if we have, say three feelings tied to an event, shame, pride, and embarrassment, for example, about something, then perhaps we decide to release it as a group or with a big scoop and say, no, thank you. I'm clearing this out now, right? Scoop your hand and scoop it out of your fields. So work with whether or not your limitations on any given day at any given time that you're working with this um, energy of this month, really just heed your limits first and foremost. And so understanding yourself, knowing thyself is really important for this process so that you can know, ooh, it feels like too much to go through XYZ individually. I'm just gonna go ahead and scoop this up and release it as a grouping. So if you're feeling the messy emotions or thoughts that are coming up to be released and acknowledged and released, and you're feeling like you want to release something on masse, just know that that's okay, to do it that way. It isn't like you're bypassing something necessarily. It's important to meet yourself in your limits at any given time, more so than to go deeply into something, right? And so you just really want to meet yourself at your capacity, at your limits. Whichever way that you decide to work with your messiness right now, whether you're lining things up individually and sort of taking them almost like customers who have pulled down a number and they're the next in line for you to acknowledge, or just as a big grouping, right? You look out, you see a room full in your imagination of stuff that wants to be released, and you think, oh, I'm acknowledging this. I'm acknowledging the messiness of this. I'm acknowledging my limitations today. So I'm just gonna just ask spirit to kind of clear out the whole room, and say next and move on to the next thing. That's okay. You are the project manager of this stuff for yourself. So you sit in that authoritative position to make those decisions and meet those decisions with what it is that you need on any given day as you acknowledge your limits on any given day and work with this stuff. Whichever ways that you decide to work with your messiness right now, be sure to love yourselves through it and really allow yourself to be okay with your choices. As a final reminder for all of these coping skills, you've always got your guides available to assist with this intense time too. And to weave them into any of these acknowledgements or coping skills or any other ways that you work with your stuff and the energy of the month, it's really just a matter of asking your guides to help you with what you're working on and then trusting that they're working on your behalf through your life. Even if you may feel either too upset or stressed to sense them, or if your skills are not to a point where when you're dealing with things like clearing trauma and dealing with healing and things that are coming up for you, perhaps your psychic skills aren't to a point that you're aware of where you can sort of see your guides, or perhaps you haven't attuned to their energy signature yet, so you don't really recognize when they're there. And that's why this is really a walk of faith, but they're always there to help you. And so Spirit asked me to remind you guys of that. Invoke your guides, whether you know that they're there or not. Trust that they're there, have faith that they're there because they are there and they are working with you and through you. All of our guides have to be asked to help us. They're not able to kind of come in and intervene in our life. We've got to give them that invitation and ask. You can set an open door with your guides. Please, guides, come in and help me at any time. This is a blanket ask for the rest of my life. You can try that. It might work. It probably won't work for everybody, but you can certainly approach it that way. And I would invite you to do so and see if that doesn't help you feel supported by your guidance team in the other realms, in the unseens, as I like to call them. That's really the most important thing, is that you feel supported and you feel that you have options for dealing with these intense energies this month, especially this mid-month of November. So be in faith, be in the asking, and be your best project manager of what you're working on. I'm sending you all heaps and heaps of love and great energy and grounding energy during this time. It can feel really hard to stay grounded. So stay grounded and keep doing the energy hygiene practices and the work, and we will all make it through to the other side. I wish you guys a glorious remainder of your November. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I will be opening up open enrollment for the Conscious Psychic program soon for the 2026 cohort. It's going to an annual enrollment for the first time, and that's about to open up. So check the link below if you'd like to get onto my newsletter and hear about more about that as it opens up and see if it's right for you. There's also a link below where you can sign on to, you can just simply go onto my website and take a look at the program, the Conscious Psychic program, and see if it feels right for you. All right, wishing you well. Thank you so much for being here. If this video helped you, feel free to give it a like. Please subscribe to the channel and please share if you feel there's someone who would benefit from hearing this information today. It's been a joy to be with you here at this time in mid-November. November 19th is the day I'm recording this, 2025. See you all soon, Psychic Ones.